Diagnosis. Self-diagnosis should be the first step, not the final thing to just be able to put something on your Twitter bio. If you have a problem, if you believe you have a problem, if you believe you have some sort of mental illness, you can check the initial symptoms for like a check, like an online thing to check quickly. And if it says you do, you go to a doctor. And you go say to the doctor, I took an online test and it gave me these results. I would like to get diagnosed. And then you heal. And then you start the healing process. You go through the healing process and you heal and you get rid of as much of these things as you can. Because having depression, having anxiety, having OCD, these are not cool things that give you cool things. These are things that people suffer from. And the ideal is to not suffer from them. If you're trying to co-opt that, to make that your personality, then you have bigger issues. People don't check their first thought is, let me post this on Twitter. Of course. Wait, what? You lost? What do you mean? What do you mean? And when do you put it on your Twitter bio? You don't. Don't put your mental illnesses in your Twitter bio unless you're trying to make that your entire personality, in which case I am going to question whether or not you even have them to begin with. Simple as. I am diagnosed. I went to a mental hospital for depression. Like, I have clinical depression, full-on diagnosed and everything. I very rarely talk about it because it's not something that defines my personality. It's something that I have in spite of who I am. And I've been treated. I healed. I am treated. I am medicated. I mean, I'm stuck with medication for the rest of my life. But then there's that. I don't make that part of my personality. And seeing people wear that like a fucking skin suit is fucking disgusting. So, they're not bugs, they're features. So yes, we're going to do a live queue after this one. So yeah, I'm good now? Yeah, thankfully, yeah. Like, I healed. Took me out, so it was a lot of work, and it took me a long time, but I managed to heal. And I am blessed. I am the luckiest and most blessed man alive. It does not really affect me at all anymore. So yeah. Can it making it a personality be an identity crisis or something? It could be, or it also could be teenagers wanting attention. It could be a cry for attention. It could be either. And regardless, I have no respect for that. I have no respect for the people who cry out, woe is me, I have this mental illness, and do nothing about it. If you have a cold and you don't treat it, that's on you. I treat mental illness and physical illness the same way. If you have a broken bone and you choose not to get it treated, that's on you. If you have a mental illness and you choose not to get it treated and instead you're using it as some sort of sympathy card to try and garner attention, that's on you. I have no respect for either. Yeah. Don't accept. I don't respect. I don't respect it. Like, yeah, you might have it, you might not. I'm not going to question that. I'm not gonna respect you being like, hi, I'm like XYZ person. I have this, and this disorder, and I have like these and these and these things and these things and these things. Like that being your introduction. No, like for me, that's a good red flag for me to just turn the fuck around and end the conversation. But yeah, those damn teenagers. Yeah, it's like a lot of the look at the transgender stuff. A lot of the self-diagnosed non-gender dysphoria cases of transgenderism are teenage girls looking for attention. Because teenage girls do that. They seek attention. And they will do anything and everything for attention. And that's it. So yeah, and I make the distinction because if you do get diagnosed with gender dysphoria, that's a type of body dysmorphia, then that's a separate issue. I do have my opinions about treatment. I do believe that transitioning is not the way to go. I consider it to be a barbaric, backwards way of treating the illness. Why do I say that? Because the DSM-5, which is the book that has all the mental disorders and everything, every mental illness or disorder that exists in the DSM-5, except for gender dysphoria, the cure and the treatment is to prevent the indulgence of said thing. So for gender dysphoria, for some reason, the treatment is to indulge the disorder further. That makes no sense to me. That screams to me something is wrong there. There's something else going on there. I do believe it's like big pharma thing, because the moment you start transitioning, you become a client for life to big pharma. So yeah, the treatment being indulging the disorder further is absolutely, in my opinion, reckless, abusive, and I do believe every single doctor that treats gender dysphoria with transitioning needs to be disbarred, needs to face legal consequences, and I consider it criminal. I do consider it criminal, because you're chopping off people's body parts, you are taking advantage of mentally unstable people, because the condition itself is horrible. The chemistry in your brain does not match the chemistry in your body. That sounds absolutely horrifying. The treatment should not and must not be to further indulge the disorder. That, to me, sounds like cruelty when you put it on principle. Like having to have the world play pretend along with you and indulge the disorder further. That is not conducive. Like, I go back to my treatment when I was getting treated for depression. The first thing you have to say to your depression is, no, you are wrong. Dear disorder, you are wrong. This is not the way to go. You are not right about these events in my life. There are these explanations, there's these explanations. No, things are not as bad as they seem to be. These are not as bad as you perceive them to be. And that's the treatment. Anxiety. No, things are not as bad as they seem to be. The future is not as bad as your mind is trying to tell you. It's not this way. OCD. No, we are trying to limit the repetitions in these. That's more neurological, so there's like a couple of other treatments that go into these kinds of things. Like these types of things, every other disorder in the DSM-5, the treatment is to go against what the disorder is telling you, to contradict the disorder and to slowly create a life and a world in which, in your mind, you adjust to reality. You adjust back to reality. You get out of your own head and you adjust to what the real world is doing. Why is it then that gender dysphoria does the opposite? We have the opposite for gender dysphoria. And we tried to force the entire world to adjust to this and say, yeah, absolutely, like, yeah, go ahead and chop off your body parts and try and put on the makeup and pretend that you are the other gender, even though physically it's absolutely impossible for you to become, for you to go from male to female. But we're going to pretend as a society to see you go deeper and deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole. You know what would happen? You know what would have happened if any of my doctors, while I was at my lowest, had said, yeah, maybe you should get the rope. Yeah, maybe the world is wrong. Maybe the world is just as bad. Maybe you should take the whole full bottle of pills. You know what they would be charged with? Attempted murder. Manslaughter at the very least. Why is it different for gender dysphoria? I'm going to tell you why. Because there's a bunch of people, mainly women, that want their feelings validated, and they have nothing else. They have no other personality traits. They are absolutely uninteresting people that have nothing to offer to this world other than their complaints. Mainly liberal white men who have nothing else. People that have absolutely nothing else. That's been not women in general, mainly liberal white women who are all about empathy. And these empathies, I'm gonna quote Charlie Kirk here. Oh my God, empathy is a weapon that they use. Sympathy is what you should use. Feeling empathy does nothing. Oh, I feel what you feel. First off, not very conducive to anything. Second of, What do you do when you feel what the other person feels? What do you do then? Sympathy means you put yourself in the other person's shoes. How would it not just feel like, but how would the situation actually play out if I were in those shoes? How would I react to that? How would I adjust to that? Sympathy is a lot better when it comes to that. Sympathy is way, way better because it means, oh shit, what would it be like if my brain chemistry didn't match? What would I want for myself if that were the case? There you go. Yeah. Talking to a 13-year-old guy, thinks he's trans, poor guy. Oh, fuck. No, and the trans kids thing, trans kids are the same thing as vegan cats. You know who's making that choice. So, yeah. Putting yourself in their shoes. Yeah, that's what sympathy is. That's what sympathy is. Empathy is useless. It's like being nice versus being good. If you are nice, if you're a nice person, you're going to be positive to everything everybody has to say. And yes, no, you should go and drink those extra 3 bottles of tequila at the bar, at the club, and waste your Friday nights doing that kind of thing and getting blackout drunk. Yeah, no. Society is wrong when they tell you shouldn't walk down alone that fucking dark alley where we are known to have in the criminal neighborhood. No, go slay, queen. You can be nice or you can be good. Because sometimes good means, fuck are you doing, you massive idiot. You absolute imbecile. What you're doing is gonna kill you. Stop it. But that's not nice. Nice is transactional. Good is actually looking for people. Yeah. And eventually becomes toxic positivity. Yes, nice is toxic positivity. This whole movement of woke, like call it woke, call it progressivism, new cultural market, call it whatever you want. The whole thing is toxic positivity. The whole thing. Not one of these people would dare say, stop, you're being an idiot. Not one of them would dare say that you're doing this. You're gonna end up facing consequences of the second or third order. Stop it. Like, grow up kind of thing. Yeah. Transitioning usually happens at a young age, and you feel made a mistake, your body is fucked. Yeah. Yeah, and then we also have the detransitioners and that kind of thing. So, no, it's absolutely tragic, and I'm opposed to it. I'm opposed to that kind of stuff. That's why I live in Hungary. Because over here, they're still fighting for gay marriage, okay? So, pretty close to your understanding of sympathy. I guess it's wording. It might be a wording thing, which is how the woke get to you with what's it called? With semantic ambiguity. Because it all starts with the pronoun thing. It's all about the pronouns of, you just want to respect people's pronouns, right? You just want to be nice and respectful to the person. In the meantime, they're not going to respect who you are. They're very rarely going to respect who you are unless you buy into the ideas as well. No, I'm not going to play to that. And the main reason why I think this didn't take off in Hungary is because Hungary has one singular third-person pronoun. Where is it? Where the fuck is it? Here we go. This is the third-person singular pronoun in Hungarian. That's it. This is the only pronoun. He, she, it. That's it. These are all the pronouns in here. So, yeah. Gershon, thank you for the $10. Appreciate it. All right, I'll add them. Let me add them right now. So, yeah. No, Gershon is right here, so that's 33. So, yeah, no. And I genuinely believe that might have been the reason why it never took off in Hungary. Like, you look at the transit and the trans stuff, every person who buys into the trans ideology in Hungary speaks English and is deeply invested in American culture or English culture. Yeah, so is a third person pronoun in Hungarian, and the plural for ök. People don't look at facts. Everyone is worried about being nice and how that happens a lot. Like, we have the Mr. Facts don't care about your feelings, but then you forget that feelings don't care about your facts either. So there is a balance to be had, which is where the idea of understanding comes in. And we haven't started yet next week. Yeah. So yeah, it's respect, but you don't have to announce your pronouns to the print. And the thing is, the pronouns thing, it's not about whether or not you're nice or not. It is a banner. It's a banner, as in banner, right? Banner, where you show whether or not you are on the same side on things. Because for the whole trans cult, there's pro-trans, and then there's the far-right Nazi bigots out there who want to kill every last trans person out there, who want you, the trans person, to die in the trans genocide, whereas you have the other side who are, I just don't want to pay for it, and I don't want to buy into that because I don't think it's right. I don't think it's right to lie to you, especially if I don't know you. I'm not going to lie to you about that kind of thing. Right? The policy I have for the pronouns thing. If I am going to refer to you, I will likely refer to you by name. I very rarely use pronouns. Very rarely. And if I do, that is up to me to decide. That is my use of language. And I will most likely call most things he, because I come from Spanish where he is default. Like, he is default. Like, the default is for he. Like, masculine is the default. And even if you call a feminine the default, it can also apply. Many times. And then there is, of course, the fact that I have to care enough. Because I remember the first time I encountered the whole pronouns thing, they were like, "Oh yeah, my pronouns are whatever the fuck." And I was like, "What do you mean? Why are you giving me these words?" And I was like, "Oh, if you refer to me, like if you refer to me, I want you to refer to me as that." And I remember this is the first time I met you. This is probably going to be the only time I met you. Don't you think it's a bit pretentious to think to assume that I would refer to you at all? I don't even know your name. You told me your pronouns before your name. I have to care about you first. And I am the kind of cold bastard that I will, in fact, not care about people. I have the entire right to not care about something or someone. So I won't. So yeah. I don't have to put pronouns in a sentence every time. In Hungarian, they have something like that as well. In Hungarian, there's a lot of, what's it called? Implied pronouns. So, for example, itt vagyok. 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 This means I'm here. Itt means here. Vagyok is the vagy or van is the neutral. This is for third person. For is. Vagyok is am. Vagy is you are. Vagyok, you are in plural. Van is third person. He, she, it. Itt van. Itt vannak, third person plural. There's no pronoun in this sentence. There's no pronoun in this sentence. It's implied. It's given by the suffix, and that's it. So yeah, don't know, don't care on mindset. I have limited bandwidth and I have horrible memory. I will reserve the right to forget about you because I likely will. I likely will forget about you. I have forgotten about myself many times. Like, I don't have that kind of mental bandwidth for you or your issue that is like some abstract thing that is happening at the other side of the world for completely unrelated reasons. I reserve the right to not care. Now, if it comes and bites me in the ass, that's on me. But I reserve the right to not care. So yeah, I'm gonna be uploading this as a BS Talks because I guess it's time for y'all to call me transphobe, right? A fucking transphobe. Because for me, you are a person, cool. You go do your thing. I don't care. The moment you try to tell me what to do is the moment where I'm gonna draw the line. Simple as. You don't get to make demands of me. The only person who gets to make demands of me is my boss at work. He gets to demand of me to do whatever work I'm trying to do. Yes, Tom Bribe, hang on. He's the one who gets to tell me what to do because I get paid to do what he tells me to do. Simple as. And he's the one that he tells me jump, I ask how high. Simple as, right? Then maybe my mom gets to tell me gets to make demands of me. And even then, I live alone. I live at the other side of the world from my mom. I am entirely within my right to say no to any demand. So I don't think people understand it's very transitioning. My sister is, and she says she constantly feels like shit and development. Many mental illness is making it worse. Completely changed. She's handling it the best she can. Just wish she didn't. Yeah, because at the end of the day, for many of these cases, the whole gender dysphoria is temporary for many people. Because it turns out, teenage girls go through a fucking insane change in their bodies, a lot stronger than it is for boys. And these predators, these absolute predators in the medical community decided to take advantage of that and make lifelong clients out of them. That's my conspiracy theory. I have no evidence for that. Dan's phone, no buffering. That's a flip. There you go. All right, so your life, your choice is simple. Yeah. I am that kind of libertarian. You do you. If you're an adult and you want to transition, you do you. I disagree with it, and I have the right to disagree with it. I think what you're doing is, I think you're falling victim to a predatory medical system establishment that exists there. And I definitely think, like, it's, it's like, I would to an extent hold you responsible for falling for a scam, but at the same time, you are falling victim to a scam. I see something similar to people who are transition. I really do say, yeah, I'm gonna leave this at that, right? Like, the final thing. Why would I have to accept you for who you say you are when you couldn't accept yourself for who you were? I'm gonna leave it at that. That's the main reasoning. Why would I have to accept you for who you say you are when you couldn't accept yourself for who you were? I've accepted myself. And accepting yourself doesn't mean I'm not going to change. I'm aiming to improve. Like right now, I just spent a fuckload of money to set up a whole nother thing so that I can get myself back to working out and building some muscle and losing some weight finally. So, yeah. You've also accepted me? Yeah. Yeah, that one hits hard. Yeah, it's like the thing that turned me from anti-gun to pro-gun. When seconds matter, the police are there in minutes. That's what turned me into pro-gun. So yeah, that's not a can of worms that I'm gonna open right now. Given an inch and they take a mile, and then there's also that, right? That they are that's the inherent ungratefulness and predatory aspect of that culture as well, which I completely reject. I consider it disrespectful, and I consider it to be a blight upon humanity. So, and maybe because I'm a human supremacist, so if you transition, you're not going to be able to have babies. And having babies is really important because we need to preserve the race. The entire human race. And I'm not talking about specific colors of skin. I'm talking about the human race in general. I am a human supremacist. There's some people that make it a very, very difficult thing. You know, they're very, very good. I've met some really good arguments against my human supremacy, but in general, I am still a human supremacist. We are the apex species to ever exist in this universe. And for that, we need to accept ourselves for who we are and improve ourselves bit by bit and get help when we need. So, Dunkel is totally a human supremacist, yes. Lost my message. Many people are writing. Yeah, I definitely did. Persons opposed to trans movement, they aren't necessarily evil or radical bad people. They just misled. You think it changed people's mind? I think so, yeah, because we're starting to see that a lot. We're starting to see, like, we just saw the Olympics banning trans people in the sports because it turns out, yes, the people who were saying maybe you shouldn't have males competing against females. Yeah, you shouldn't have that. These kinds of, like, there's so many things, like, the tide is turning against this, and I do think we're gonna see gender transition the way we now see lead as medicine. I think it's I see it as the equivalent. I personally see it as an equivalent. The way that we used to have lead in medicine, and it turns out it's super fucking poisonous. I see transitioning as something like that. It is a part of the industry that is corrupted, and it has taken control over a lot for whatever reasons, and now we're finally getting out of it. So there we go. I was just waiting for that burp to happen. So, I said if you want, I have like just 15 lines of scientific summary about why incongruent self-gender identity can exist. Incongruent self-gender identity. I don't even. I need you to speak to me in smaller words, please. Oh. Moist Critical supports trans kids is led by the entity. Yeah, no, like, look, eventually people will see things for what they are, I believe. It's a bit difficult coming from a movement that requires you to not do that. So, and I still have, and yes, Cyberwolf, I talk about whatever the fuck I want. But yeah, we're gonna start this one soon. Final thing. The main reason why I oppose the trans movement is that it requires you to reject the concept of linear time. And I struggled with that a lot. I am somebody who has struggled with the concept of time quite a bit. It was one of the things that landed me on the mental hospital. So if your movement requires me to go back to the hell I had to spend 10 years crawling out of, no. My answer is no. I simply will not. I will not do it. It took me 10 years to finally figure out linear time for myself and properly heal from that. I'm not going to submit to your ideas if it requires me to give up and go back to the hell I had to crawl out of. Simple as. All right. So, that time to finish. Yep. And no worries, Magnus. No worries. I'm not looking for that right now. I am looking to do. Let's do this one, then one from the live queue. All right.